Josh Darrow, Larry Bluestein, back at it.
Right there, buddy.
Auto Nation Gridiron Report here on South Florida High School Sports.com. Nike football training camp just got back from American Heritage. A lot of these camps and combine 7-on-7 tailored to the skill position players. And Deontay Mullins,
he goes anywhere. He's a he walks into the local restaurant and he'll grab a fork
with
off
one hand.
Yeah,
with one hand.
Let me tell you something. Like I said, it may have cost him the MVP of the receivers because of the fact, and JT Wilcox and I probably talked, between he and Sam Bruce, they're so flashy. And maybe people don't like flash. They just like but
so Devontae Phillips or Calvin Ridley.
But give me those two guys and I'll call it a day.
No doubt about it. So we know about them. They're elite. They're high-level kids, but there are so many good quality wide receivers down in our area. And we're going to talk about two kids. One, a kid who's on the move from North Broward Prep will make his way over to Coconut Creek. That program is on the rise under Kareem Reed, who was on the show.
Yes.
And we are talking about Karan Rozier.
Oh, Karan Rozier is a kid that gets everybody excited. Our buddy Sly Johnson has been talking about him. He says whenever Sly has somebody that does well, he always says that's a kid that gets it. Well, he got it last couple of years. Way under the radar. This is a guy, he can play on both sides of the ball, obviously. He's like Malik Young is going to be. This is a guy who could catch on anybody. I watched him on Sunday just to see what type of football player. His burst is unbelievable. And working, see whether people want to understand or not. I mean, it's nice to play in the 7-on-7 to go to these things, but going to like events that Sly puts on for his every Sunday it's a billion times better than going to a game because of the fact that you're
invaluable.
Yeah, they break everything down about you, and you have somebody working on your technique, and this is where he's separated himself. His technique is amazing. He can catch on anybody. He's got great leap, probably as good a leaping ability as anybody. His explosion is tremendous. He's played at North Broward Prep. He's gotten a tremendously quality education the last few years. Now he comes over to Coconut Creek, and this team, as you mentioned,
got weapons.
They do have weapons, and that's going to be real interesting. They have one. You talk about under the radar quarterbacks, and Jakari Harrison has really been getting it done. Now they find themselves with a few other kids that are going to be coming on board, and it's going to be an offensive show. That whole district's going to be an offensive show. Everybody, Stranahan, Hallandale is going to be pretty good. Boynton Beach is going to be good. That division went from a little bit top heavy to pretty even now. I mean, and because of kids like Karan Rozier coming over there, it's going to make it even so. That kid's big time.
All right, now, you always talk about what 7-on-7 football can do for athletes, and certainly helps with exposure and promotion and maybe in hyper exposure in this day and age.
Yeah.
But with the advent of more and more teams being created down here to help with that cause, the Miami Showcase is a team that was started and showcases a lot of kids from the North Miami Pioneers. And then I remember at the Sunday's event afterwards, you had like Deontay Mullins, Devonair Clarington, a couple other wide receivers were working with Jordan Palmer and the quarterbacks, and then there was there's another guy that was in that group, and Tavares Harrison of North Miami definitely grabbed your eye.
Well, I'll tell you what, here's a kid last year, Stanley Clairvaux, all these receivers that North Miami had, not that, I can finally toot their horn because they are stellar receivers. Victor Sam is in that same boat. This time of year, Victor Sam's trying to be a baseball player. Well, he's more than try. When you throw it, there's a feature we got to do. Maybe I'll do it.
You should do it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's a two-sport athlete right there. But Harrison is one of these guys. Now, his lineage goes long in the North Miami football family. His relatives are the Holt family, who played quarterback or receiver, went to Minnesota, went to LSU. So he has the lineage to play football. His one of the Holts, Glenn Holt, right now is coaching the showcase team.
Right.
So he's keeping in touch with this kid, talking to him, showing him things that he should be doing. I'll tell you what, this kid could be a 60-catch type of kid.
And you know what? He was at the, now that you think of it, I remember watching him at the Express tryouts as well. And Glenn Holt was there. And when you see a kid work, and you sort of just know, right? And he was a kid, you're like, oh yeah.
Well,
and then you saw him again and again, and you
But
watch him
then-
on tape. We've actually saw him when the showcase participated in one of the other events so far, and then you watch him on Sunday.
Yeah, well, he's going to be part of a pretty good combination. Hilton Joseph
Joseph.
comes back, so he's comfortable with that. They have a few Henry Payout, who might be one of the best 2016 receivers. I'm not going to put him in that Sam Bruce class, but he's a pretty decent football player. So North Miami's in pretty good hands offensively.
You're happy about that?
Yeah, just for this year anyway. But,
alum, hashtag
things
alum.
change you. Yes, that's right. Hashtag alum.
Hashtag long time ago.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, I'll take it though. But
yeah.
There's two pretty good kids.
Absolutely.
Making their way all the way from exit 1 right there. Homestead is representing Mr. Collier. Is an opportunity for you guys to come up here and bring the entire Bronco Nation up this way. What's an event like this do for you as far as exposure?
It brings exposure to our school, really. We trying to do big things this year. Try to get all our players out here, get some work, get better. It was good. It was a good event. It was a lot of talent out here. Competing, everybody, hyped up, getting everybody hyped up. But
you usually run that ball, and today you were catching it.
Yeah, I was catching today. I'm gonna be at receiver this year.
You are? You're gonna be a receiver?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Is that breaking news here?
Breaking news for everybody we play.
This gentleman to your right is
Desert Luton.
I'm Desert Luton.
Talk a little bit about what you're bringing to this team, and especially with this program. There's always talent at Homestead. Everybody knows that, and this year is going to be pretty special. Again, you got a lot of young guys. Talk about what you benefit from an event like this.
I'm gonna try to work hard, get quicker, get faster, get stronger. Try to compete more often. Coming out of 2016, I'm gonna just do my best.
Yeah. District-wise, it's going to be tough again, but still, you guys always have the talent, to represent. Talk about a little bit about this team coming back and some of the guys. Since you're the veteran of the guys, talk about some of the kids that we're going to expect to see.
Oh, you're going to see our whole defense basically come back. Offensive-wise, me, And we got a couple receivers, Dedrick Luton, Ermin Lane's cousin.
Oh, Armin's cousin.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're doing big things.
Nice. Well, we're gonna bring in the rest of the guys here. I know this guy's pretty impressive. He's kind of the heart and soul of your team. Guys, introduce yourself.
My name Christopher Bond, Homestead, strong safety.
Okay.
William Lulu, middle linebacker.
William, I was looking at your film a couple weeks ago, and I remember you now. You could hit, man. Yeah. You're a force in the middle. Talk about an event like this helping you. I mean, this is you come here, you get to run against some pretty good guys. You know, I mean, talk about this experience.
I feel like I did pretty good coming out here, you know, with no exposure, and just trying to get my name more out there, and I did pretty good. And I feel like I can compete against anybody and continue to work harder and get better and faster each and every day.
William, you've been with this program for a few years now. Talk about what it's been like. You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys aren't here anymore, but you guys are, and you're keeping the house fires burning pretty good. Talk about this program and how you guys have become closer for this.
Well, this program is based on, now our team is really young, so what we're trying to do is just make everybody compete for their position, so we can all work together and just get better, because like all the veterans left, we just better going off young people, so we just got to just be a family and just keep working hard.
Nice. Homestead Broncos representing, coming all the way up here to Cardinal Gibbons. Guys, thanks so much. Good luck, congratulations, and we'd like to see you guys in the playoffs soon. Larry Bluestein back with you from beautiful Cardinal Gibbons Elite Scouting Services, and one of the guys who everybody seems to have forgotten about so far. He had a tremendous postseason, a Mastroli event, top finisher, Jason Collins from Dillard. Talk about what you've been doing, because today I will say that you looked as good as anybody out there. You were crisp, your passes were all on target. Talk about what you've been doing to get better and get noticed like you did today.
Well, I've been going to the weight room every day, throwing balls every day, at least 100 a day. So I've been working a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I know you and I talked early on. I mean, it's almost like it's almost a shame that people are not looking at you because of the fact that what you're doing, you're putting in the work. It was told to you that if you put in that work, things are going to pay off, and I still think they will. And watching you today, I mean, you felt as comfortable. This is your environment. You like to do this. You like this field, obviously. I mean, you've excelled at this field pretty much. What have you been doing as far as, like, besides getting stronger? Have you been going to events? Have you been going to Mastroli? Have you been doing any of those things to try to, keep you in passing form?
Well, I've been working with Coach Pippi.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been doing 7-on-7 with my team every day. Well, throughout the week, actually.
Right.
So, yeah, that's things I've been doing to get better.
What about team camps? Anything? I mean, because obviously you're going to be jumping into the 7-on-7 season with your team, which is going to be beneficial, because then you get to know a few of your guys that you didn't, before, younger guys that you're going to have a good, bond with. But in between that, are you going to foresee going to any colleges, any team camps or anything?
Yes, I plan on going to FIU camp, Miami camp, maybe Florida State and UCF.
Yeah.
Some of those camps, yeah.
I always ask this, in 2 years from now, where does Jason Collins see himself?
I see myself in the university, maybe D1 AA, D1, playing on Saturday.
Good stuff. Well, you know what? We wanted to help you get into the spring, because I think that everybody should start looking at this guy right here. He's tremendously accurate, has a big arm, can get it done. He can win. Believe me, he can win. Larry Bluestein back with you at beautiful Cardinal Gibbons Elite Scouting Services Combine. What a great camp and great event. And it's worth mentioning that a lot of kids come from Palm Beach. They also come from the Keys, where George and Henry Jacobson join us. Obviously, they're in the upper Keys at Tavernier Coral Shores, and First of all, George, I'll ask you. This is an opportunity for you. You know, you've been up here a couple of times. Some of the events that you've attended maybe not conducive. One was in the rain, the other one was muddy, but you still did well testing. You kind of smiled through it all. What's this experience like with some really good football players, but getting an opportunity to show what you could do?
Well, it gives me a lot of exposure and kind of a template to judge on where I should be and like how good I should be. And I like to perfect everything. And I like coming up here for the talent, seeing what other schools or whatever Miami has to offer. And it's just fun coming up here and getting exposure.
Ever since you got there, you've had an ambition to go and see the best. I mean, you read about them. I mean, you living outside the Miami area sometimes penalizes you because you're not included in that quote-unquote South Florida. But coming here gives you an opportunity to get seen, to get a lot of these kids' attention. What did you learn today? They always say you come away with something positive. What did you learn today?
I learned to get better on my routes and get faster. These are two I need to work on a lot, and I think if I perfect these, I think I have a really good shot at playing college and just being the best I can be.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, obviously you see the same thing. Henry, I mean, you've been right along with him every step of the way, being confused for him, having to wear different color shorts for identification. But on the football field, you guys, I watch you. I mean, you both, I mean, it's all business. That's the approach you take in your life. I know you work extremely hard. Talk about what it is to come up here and finally go up against some of these kids.
I think it's a great experience because in the Keys, of course, football is not really as big as it is up here. And coming up here and just putting your name out there, getting as much reps as you can, and just perfecting everything you do, it just makes you a better football player.
Does it get you frustrating sometimes, I mean, just to look at it and see some of these kids who are the same height, same weight, that are receiving the Division I's, but offers? I mean, I know it's not something you may be consumed with, but something that, kind of bothers you a little bit to the point where you go, I got to go to this event because if I get, even though it's not full football, at least it's showing some skills, something that you may do that somebody saw here today could change everybody's mind.
Of course. Yeah, it's good seeing where everyone else is at and just judging where you have to be and working for it.
Where do you see yourself in 2 years from now?
I think I'll be playing college in 2 years, and I'm just going to work as hard as I can to get there.
George, same thing. 2 years from now, where do you picture yourself?
Playing on stadiums on Saturday nights and just working hard.
Two guys that really deserve it. From Tavernier, Carl Schwartz, George and Henry Jacobson. They're twins, and if you watch them play, you'll understand what everybody's talking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Josh Darrow, Larry Bluestein.
Right here, buddy.
Nice to see you.
Thanks.
It's been a little while since we did.
ourselves.
Reintroduce ourselves. How you doing?
Good.
Good to be here on the Auto Nation's Gridiron Report on SouthFloridaHighSchoolSports.com. Got to get that. I get used to saying that again and again. But even though our paths haven't quite crossed, we finally reconnected this past weekend up at American Heritage for the Nike football training camp, and 300 plus kids out there. So it's hard to. We're not gonna be able to get everybody clearly, but between our videos and highlights and interviews from what we did there, we're gonna pick out a few kids that caught a few of a lot of kids who caught our attention.
But we listed them on our South Florida High School Sports.
Absolutely, you had your blog right after the event. So we'll go in the trenches. I spent a lot of time over there. You're familiar with a couple of these kids. Two kids that really stood out, dominated on the defensive line. One from Dade, one from Broward. We'll start in Dade County, probably a little less heralded than our Broward County counterpart, which would be Jared McGahee of Coral Gables.
Well, he was at Northwestern.
Right.
Yeah, this is a kid who, he's one of those bull rushing type of guys, and you could see it. I mean, you could see it from watching him play. You could see him from watching the drills, and he's just a strong kid. I mean, there are like, I thought there were 3 or 4 of that type of players. We'll talk about one of them. That was that type of player that could just take you and just make the kid that came over from Island Coast, who's been over here a lot. He committed the FSU. Just one of those guys that goes right after you. Well, McGahee's one of these just not real tall, but center of gravity, strong. He'll grab on you and he'll pull you on, and that's why he was winning a lot of the battles. There were a couple of other kids that could have walked away with that title too. Yeah,
that's right. He got defensive line MVP, and a guy who I think he might have won every drill, every one-on-one matchup, and we've known about him. But I think he still deserves his due because he did not lose and held his own in every which way. Now at St. Thomas Aquinas, formerly of University School, great kid and a great player, Brandon Boyce.
Well, that's the other kid I was alluding to. I mean, I watched a lot of his drills because he, as Josh has said, is one of these guys that you gravitate to because he's a big teddy bear type of guy. He's hanging out with all the guys that are a lot smaller than he is, and if you ever watch him in a game, he dominates. It's just there's no other word for it. He may not look like he's going to dominate you, but after the ball game, you're searching around to shake his hand because he gets it. He's an extremely intelligent young man, a strong guy,
technically sound.
Oh, very technically sound, and quick in those spurts. And the one thing that you get that both is good and tremendous and NFL bound as Nick Bosa is, he's gonna watch a kid in the middle that really does.
I feel sorry for whoever goes up against St. Thomas.
Yeah, that's another team you don't really want to be on the schedule, but nevertheless. And then we had a chance to look at a couple of the other kids that St. Thomas has, but certainly Brandon is one of those guys who fits into any situation. He'll have them all hysterical. He's a funny guy to be around. He's a lighthearted guy, and he's going to watch after his teammates. So that's kind of a little bit of a warning to offensive linemen who are looking to get some cheap shots in.
All right, so the defensive line MVP from the Nike football training camp was Jared McGahee. The guy that probably also could have won it would have been Brandon Boyce from St. Thomas Aquinas. We will have our eye on both. Since the linemen don't get as much love during the offseason.
We'll get them.
They can make or break your team come the regular season. For Larry, I'm Josh. Another edition of the Auto Nation Gridiron Report here on SouthFloridaHighSchoolSports.com.